Hi, I'm delighted to be able to join you today. My name is Adrian Thomas. I've worked in recruitment, mostly in-house, throughout all my working career. Apart from a few roles as HR director here and there, recruitment has been right at the centre of everything I do, and I'm passionate about in-house recruiters and the difference they can make to their organisations that they work within. So I am delighted that I was asked by the team at Horsefly to challenge them to provide you with relevant answers to the key questions that many recruiters are asking today as we start using data and talent analytics and evidence in a way that we've never used before. I mean, we've all had to write those monthly reports, and we've all had to fill in the various metrics that we've been measured against in our careers: the time to hire, the cost per hire, and all these other, in somewhat ridiculous metrics, I believe, that don't actually tell you what you're going to do in the future. They simply report what you've done, and they're rear-looking. And I'm been searching most recently for information, data that I can rely on looking forwards. So when the Horsefly team told me that they'd like me to put some questions to them on behalf of the in-house community, I said, great. I've been chair of two recruitment society, and the RL 100, which represent in-house recruiters. And I've suffered over the years with people asking me loads and loads of questions to which I really would like to see some answers. Now, mostly it's around how we can get the data we need for better decision making, how we can have reliable data. So I was to put scratched my head and got thinking, and I think there's four things that actually could be the key questions out of the 100+ questions I could have probably come up with today. And I'm going to put them to Mike Basnett-Santiford from Horsefly. He's one of the team there, and he's going to do his best to answer my questions. So, Mike, I don't really want to commission research and wait weeks for it. I want data now. What's the speed of data? And can I get hold of it myself in real time? Can I use it simply and with confidence that I can be believed when I'm presenting that data internally? So is that, second question, is that information that I can use credible? Can it help me with my recruitment plans? The second question. Third question, it's all about quality and diversity. Can the information I have be not just fast, reliable, but can I get quality information, and can I have that information that can help me become more diverse? Diversity has been high in everybody's agendas this year. For me, it's always been high, and I've been a passionate supporter of fair recruitment and recruitment that isn't biased in any way. So where can talent analytics help us with that? And finally, can we use it defensively? It sounds a bit strange, but by defensively, I mean, can it be of such quality that our organizations trust us with the data, that when they set a crazy target for us, that we can go back to them with real data, quality data, and say, it's a great target, but it's going to be hugely difficult to achieve. And we can have a bash at it, but we're going to need different resources or more resources, or we need to do it slightly differently or a longer period of time. But the information that can enable us to challenge back to the business when they're giving us quite legitimate challenges, but we have got the information to be a strategic partner in that conversation. So, Mike, perhaps you'd like to take a hard to fill or a role that has tough diversity targets, or a complex role, a tech role maybe, and see if you can answer my four questions. Over to you, and I'll come back after Mike, and I'll see if he's answered them. Over to you, Mike.
Thanks, Adrian, and hi everyone. I'm Mike Basnett-Santiford from Horsefly. I manage our partnerships. Yeah, I think just what I want to do today is really give a very, very brief synopsis of some of the functionality from within Horsefly. You can get a lot of data, and Adrian's touched on the fact that actually there's probably 100 different questions and probably equal amount of different uses for the data and where and how it can be used. But if I touch on the speed of data, what I've got here is just a few different skill sets that I've started to put in, and these have essentially become an OR, because what I'm looking for is cybersecurity. And this was just something that a particular client of ours was looking at, and I'm getting some suggestions around actually, what else might be relevant within this space, which will allow me to pull up some really, really quick data around what the market looks like. So I can put in specific locations, and I can filter on gender, number of years experience, and I can start adding other search groups as well to build out an and from a Boolean search perspective, or actually discard certain terms that I don't want to be searched on. So if I run that search now, what I'm going to get is really, really quick data. And Adrian's touched on that, not waiting 2 weeks, at your fingertips for a quick conversation that you need to go and say, okay, how many people are there in terms of the skill sets that we need across the UK? And if we link that then also to the location strategy, what I can start saying is, well, where's my hotspots for this data? I'm sorry, for these people. So we can see London and the Southeast, higher density of population. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the easiest place to recruit, because actually I'll touch on supply versus demand very shortly. But we see candidate numbers, we get a mean average salary, we get a high average salary. We're also pulling in job adverts from right the way across the web in similar ways to the likes of Indeed would do by aggregating from different job boards. Candidate data, and we talk about the integrity of data. This is being pulled from a multitude of social platforms, as well as looking at government working population statistics to make sure that actually we are, displaying really a really good, accurate, indicative view of the marketplace. So there's a number of different things I can do. If I wanted to drill down from a macro level into a micro level and look at perhaps the Southeast as a region, I can do exactly that. So I've clicked into the Southeast here. I'm then going to see sort of the towns and sort of areas where there's a higher population of people. Now, when we start talking about the I don't like the term necessarily new normal, but if we look at the market conditions now, where actually more and more people are working remotely, may not go back to an office full time, does that expand your search parameters in terms of where you're looking for that particular candidate or skill set for the organisation? So how can this data really start to say, well, actually, we've always looked at Reading, but could we expand out to the likes of Milton Keynes? Could we go to Oxford, Guildford, and different regions like that? Coming back to the overall view, whilst we can see the mean averages and high average salaries and the candidate numbers, it's important to start then drilling into actually a little bit more information, because high number of candidates doesn't necessarily mean easy to recruit. And again, it's about having this data right now before that marketing strategy happens to say, well, actually, yeah, London has got the most amount of candidates. And we see this on the supply and demand graph here. This green bar is showing me the average salary in different regions. The blue bar is telling me the candidate numbers from the left-hand side. But the black bar is then saying, okay, number of candidates per role. So if we take number of job adverts in that region, divided into the number of people, we see in London, high number of candidates, there's only 3 people available for every job that's being advertised. And let's take into consideration these people are probably also actually in work as well. So if we then take someone like the Southeast, we've got over double the amount of potential candidates available. East England, even more. Now, that may not be feasible for you as an organisation to move locations, but it certainly sets the precedent around what that demand looks like. And again, I'm touching on sort of the 4 different points that Adrian's talked about here, but that's defensive use of the platform to say it's going to be incredibly challenging if we are looking in London. We look at the average salary, an awful lot higher, the high average. This green bar is indicating that it's pushing not just from the mean average, right the way up to this high average as well. 2 other things that could impact that. 65% of those people have got over 8 years experience. So you'd expect that they're not going to be on an average salary. We talked about gender, and diversity across the marketplace and within organisations is absolutely critical. But if the UK average of females working within this cybersecurity sort of sector here is only at 15%, and you've got targets of 30, 40, 50% as an organisation, how is that going to be achieved in terms of delivering on that? And actually, as an organisation, are you maybe sat at 20, 25%, which actually should really be celebrated, that as a business, you are doing incredibly well in a marketplace that is notoriously sort of low on population of female talent, for example. So just touching back on some of the other data that you can get, we can look at job title analysis. We can look at the competitor landscape. So again, I think this is a really nice example. We didn't put in just a cybersecurity analyst, for example. We put in the skills that these people will have. And actually, we can start to then look at what these people are calling themselves in the marketplace. Again, it's driving strategy right here, right now, rather than going out, not achieving results that you need from an advertising campaign. What is the impact to your organization by not having these people in place, right now, or actually within a sort of set sort of time to hire metric that you would typically look at. Understanding where your audience is currently working is also vitally important, because if you know that perhaps Lloyds Banking Group in this instance offer a better remuneration package, have got better benefits, and they are the key sort of employer within that area that you're looking, how are you going to attract those people? But it's about having this data at your fingertips to be able to go and have an informed discussion immediately. And again, we keep referring back to that data right now, not necessarily in 2 weeks' time. And the credibility, again, we touch on it again. We're taking data from multiple sources. So it's not just one version of the truth. This is pulling in from all different social platforms. Now, we touched on gender diversity just a second ago. What I'm just going to do is change my search and sort of talk about how I can actually look at a different strategy here. So if we imagine from universities, actually, where is this talent going to university? Now, we're looking at the overall market right now, and we can see that Sheffield Hallam is perhaps the most popular. Now, let me go and change this search and show you exactly how we could change this, looking at perhaps if we're looking at the next generation of female talent. So, editing my search, I'm taking out male candidates and anyone with over 3 years experience. So I want to look at people that have perhaps been to university in the last 3 years or are just graduating, and actually run that search. So instantly, what we're seeing is from a young female talent coming into this marketplace, it's only 239 candidates with that combination of skill sets. But actually, what I can now start looking at is what are the top universities that these people are going to. And actually, that we can see there is Coventry University, University of West England, Glasgow, Royal Holloway, London, Bournemouth, Northumbria. So we could start to perhaps think about that next generation. And when we talk about build, borrow, or buy, we know we can go and buy candidates from businesses that perhaps have got a higher diversity, and we can look at that from within Horsefly as well. But actually, building that next generation of talent, where might you want to go and focus some of your early careers activity within specific universities for specific skill sets? It just allows you to be so much more targeted with that particular approach. So Adrian talked about international aspects as well. So I've just run that exact search again to just show you from an international perspective. We've got, as I said, up to sort of around 33 countries. About 5 or 6 of those are just in the final testing phase. But this is an example of that cybersecurity search across Germany. We're instantly looking at euros. We've got all of the regional areas and where that talent sits, and in exactly the same way as I've done previously, I can click in and I'll just click into Berlin, for example, in this instance, and I can get all of the information that we've been looking at specifically for Berlin. And actually, we've got universities, company information, job title, and that's supply and demand as well. So we can really start to understand, where these people are working really quickly and efficiently. So I think the last point I just really want to go back to is that defensive use. And again, whilst we're talking about using data to look forward and drive strategy, actually, having that data to be able to push back to the business with real-time data as opposed to gut feel becomes incredibly important. It could be that actually Munich is the spot that you're looking for, and actually we can see it's probably one of the highest demands. We can see, gender breakdown 17%. What if you're being pushed to deliver more? What if your salaries aren't quite to the expectation within that particular market? You may be offering 55, 60K, but actually the high average is 65K. So actually what you know is if it's higher demand, higher experience level, that actually you may need to be pushing those boundaries further to be able to attract that talent. But having the data at your fingertips is really important to deliver strategy. So really great, opportunity to talk to you all today. I hope it's been useful. Please do ask any questions. Our contact details are on the video here, and we'll hopefully speak soon. Bye for now.
Mike, thanks. That was an incredible and speedy run through of the information available, looking at just one set of skill types, and showing that it's both national and international. I'm so pleased that you managed to cover all 4 questions. There's probably lots more to go for, but we have a limited time slot, I know. And to finish, perhaps I can hand back to you so that you can give everybody some more information about how they can contact you or Horsefly to find out a little bit more. Thank you, Mike.
So hopefully it's been useful. Thanks very much for just taking the time to sort of come through the live demo with us. If there's any questions at all that you want to ask, please do get in touch. My contact details are on here, and look forward to sharing any more information with you. Thanks very much.